Κυρίες και κύριοι, επανερχόμαστε εδώ. Είμαστε εδώ στην πανέμορφη Πάφο, σε μια καλοκαιρινή ημέρα. Κοντά μου έχω τον συνάδελφο, δημοσιογράφο, ακτιβιστή, Άραβο-Ισραηλινό, χριστιανό υπήκο της φίλης χώρας του Ισραήλ, ο οποίος, όπως σας προανέφερα, έχει έρθει στην Πάφο και στη Λεμεσό για να ενημερώσει εδώ τους πολίτες για την πραγματική κατάσταση που συμβαίνει στην Μέση Ανατολή και ειδικά στην Γάζα. Λοιπόν, Mr. Giuseppe, thank you very much, thank you for all. Να πάμε στο επόμενο ερώτημα. Και αυτό που θέλω να ρωτήσω είναι τι γίνεται με τις διαδηλώσεις στο Ισραήλ εναντίον του πολέμου, τώρα που επέστρεψαν οι όμηροι και ένας σεβαστός αριθμός από τους νεκρούς πίσω. Θα σταματήσουν οι διαδηλώσεις? Και επίσης, βλέποντας αυτούς τους διαδηλωτές, ήταν μόνο αυτοί που πραγματικά αγωνιούσαν για τους δικούς τους, είναι και αυτό που λέμε κομμουνιστές, διεθνιστές και λοιποί, οι οποίοι έχουν άλλη άποψη ακόμη και για το κράτος του Ισραήλ?
Well, first of all, the fact that we have protests in Israel is the evidence that Israel is a democratic state with freedom of speech. And this is important because you will not see something like this in any other Arab country in the Middle East. Now, alongside the protests, which they are legitimate, who wants to protest to return the hostages, who wants to protest against the government, they're allowed. But we have among us in Israel an extreme minority, very important, extreme minority, that protest against the state of Israel and against the IDF soldiers, and they actually spread the propaganda and the narrative of a terrorist organization like Hamas. What the far extreme left is doing in Israel is not freedom of speech, it's incitement. And that's why we must not allow them. They are hurting the IDF. Soldiers, brave soldiers who are fighting for them as well against terrorism, and they echo lies of Hamas from Israel. This is crazy.
Αυτοί οι άνθρωποι μήπως είναι Ισραηλινοί μουσουλμάνοι και έχουν τέτοιο μένος εναντίον και τέτοια άποψη εναντίον, ας πούμε, της κυβέρνησης του Ισραήλ και τέτοια άποψη για τη γύρω περιοχή?
Jews! Jews! This is what's so crazy. You know, I must tell you this because people who is not from Israel, they don't even know that. The first people who started protests, public protests against Israel came from the Jewish community. After that, it gave some courage to the Arab community to join. Up until that, they didn't even do a protest in the Arabs. But again, they are minority, not majority.
Πάμε στο Ιράν. Ιράν. Αγιατολάχ. Ο κύριος Νετανιάχου, πρέσβης Νετανιάχου, είπε ότι σύντομα ο λαός του Ιράν θα ζήσει ελεύθερος. Πολεμήσατε για όλη τη Δύση εναντίον των Αγιατολάχ. Θέλω να σας ρωτήσω, πιστεύετε ότι θα ακολουθήσει νέα πολεμική σύγκρουση με το Ιράν με στόχο την πλήρη εξολόθρευση των Αγιατολάχ και την ελευθερία στο λαό του Ιράν?
You know, every Israeli said one thing after the war. The job is not done. We need to clarify something. Israel is not against Iran. Israel is not against the Iranian people. We are against the Iranian regime, the Ayatollah. And I can tell you that I have so many Iranian, Persian friends. They love Israel. They want Israel to win. And yes, we must do everything to eventually eliminate the Iranian regime. Because, and this will clarify one thing, The second there was a ceasefire between the Iranian regime and Israel, the Iranian regime said, okay, we will now work again to have a nuclear bomb to kill and destroy Israel. We should not wait. We should destroy the Iranian regime first. The destruction of the Iranian regime is not only good for Israel, but it is amazing for the Iranian people because they will be free from this terrorist regime. So you have a win-win here for the Israeli people and win for the Iranian people. And inshallah, if this happens, we will see a direct flight from Tel Aviv to Tehran and Tehran to Tel Aviv.
Η απάντηση δόθηκε πριν να ελευθερωθεί ο λαός του Ιράν. Πάμε στη Συρία. Εκεί υπάρχει ο τζιχαντιστής, Ισλαμιστής, Τζολάνι. Και μπράβο σας που δεν τον αναγνωρίζετε. Μπράβο σας. Ο άνθρωπος αυτός όμως είναι τζιχαντιστής, έστω και αν φόρεσε γραβάτα. Είναι Ισλαμιστής και είναι δολοφόνος. Και θέλω να σας ρωτήσω, θα επιτρέψετε να κυβερνάει ένας τζιχαντιστής στη Συρία, θα προστατεύσετε τους Δρούζους, τους χριστιανούς που είναι εκεί και επίσης τι θα κάνετε με τους Τούρκους που κάνουν κάθε λίγο και λιγάκι βάσεις μέσα στη Συρία. Θα εξακολουθήσετε να τους καταστρέφετε τις βάσεις μόλις τις ολοκληρώνουν?
It's very dangerous. Al-Julani is ISIS.
ISIS, yes.
I call it a terrorist in a suit. I'm very, very worried about this. I'm worried about this because we are seeing what Al-Julani and the Al-Julani force did to Christians in Syria, to Druze in Sweden. And the fact that forces from Turkey are now entering. So we finished the Iranians' occupation in Syria, and now we're going to have Turkey occupation in Syria. Look, Israel must ensure the security of all its citizens, and of course the north border of Israel. We have to maintain our force in the key point of southern Syria, north of Israel. And we have to inform the Syrian ISIS president and the Syrian people. We will not tolerate any security leaks against us. And any attack or even thinking of attack, Israel must go full on power. Now, he is the Syrian president. I can't have any control with that. And we have to live with that. But our job as Israel is to send a clear message to Turkey, to send a clear message to Syria, and of course to the world, especially the Western world. If Syrians are going to plan to attack us and to try to attack Israeli civilians, we will go on full force. And there is a sentence that says, it's usually in Hebrew, kabdehu v'chashdehu, which means respect him, but always be prepared for the worst. I say, don't respect. Always be prepared for the worst. Because I don't want to respect terrorists. Never. I want terrorists to be scared of me. Because when they're scared of me, they respect me. This is the Middle East. So, Israel must always be prepared for an attack from Syria, certainly from the terror supporter that his name is Erdogan.
Η πραγματικότητα λέει ότι ο Ζολάνι,
ISIS Jolani,
σκοτώνει χριστιανούς, βιάζει κόσμο, προσπαθεί να σκοτώσει τους Δρούζους και ότι ο μόνος που μπορεί να εγγυηθεί την ασφάλεια των ανθρώπων είναι το Ισραήλ. Και θέλω να σε ρωτήσω ευθέως, θα προχωρήσετε στη βοήθεια αυτών των ανθρώπων να δημιουργήσουν ανεξάρτητα, όπως και τους Κούρδους, έτσι, όπως και οι Κούρδοι, να δημιουργήσουν ανεξάρτητα κράτη ώστε να μπορούν να ζήσουν όμορφα και ειρηνικά?
So, regarding they having their own state, look, I don't really know the exact answer for that. What I can tell you is that Israel is doing absolutely everything to ensure the safety of others, not even our people. And this is itself the fact that we are fighting on the right side of the history. Because when ISIS al-Julani attacks the Christians and attacks the Druze in Sweden, it was Israel that came to help the Druze community in Sweden. And it's very important to understand. Again, I don't know what will happen in the future for the Christians in Syria and for the Druze in Syria. But I can promise you that it's already happening in terms of protecting them. We did that when al-Julani force, ISIS force, attacked Druze. We sent weapons. We sent even the army, the IDF, to fight. And what's so amazing about this, and this is something that not a lot of people know, it made the Druze community in the Golan Heights in Israel way more patriotic towards Israel and happy to have the Israeli identity, because Israel was the only state in the world that defended them and defended their brothers in Sweden. So we will continue and do that for the safety of the minorities in Syria, and of course, first of all, for our safety, the Israelis on the north side of Israel. When it comes to the Kurds, this is really interesting, because many Kurd, like, you know, the land of Kurdistan, there are many people who are a fan of Israel. We don't have any problem if it comes to the place where whether Kurdistan or any other entity wants to have their own sovereignty. But Israel now is finding itself fighting so many wars that we need first to take care of our security. And we need first to take care of our people and our land. And of course, with the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Anything additional that can happen and shape the Middle East, why not? We're supporting it.
Λοιπόν, αγαπητέ κύριε Γιωζέφ Χαντάτ, πάμε τώρα σε μια ερώτηση που τουλάχιστον εμάς εδώ στην Κύπρο και στην Ελλάδα μας απασχολεί πάρα πολύ. Και θέλω να μου πείτε στο άκουσμα του ονόματος Τουρκία, Τούρκος και Ερντογάν, πώς αντιδράει ο φίλος λαός του Ισραήλ.
Erdogan, in one of his statements, said that Hamas is not a terrorist organization. They are brave fighters. These are the same people who on the 7th of October massacred Israelis, killed Jews and Arabs, kidnapped Jews and Arabs, raped our women, killed our babies, burned entire families alive. And then you have a president of a country, Turkey, comes and says about those monsters, brave fighters and resistance. Shame on you. Shame on you, you are a terror supporter. And I said to the Israelis, shame on every one of you if you fly to Turkey. Ban Turkey, boycott Turkey. Don't give 1 cent of Israeli money to Turkey. So I think now you understand how I feel about Erdogan and how I feel about the Turkish government. Every Israeli, when he listen or hear the word, the Turkish government and the president, that is the feeling, 100%. By the way, the problem is that, again, the Turkish people, a lot of them are not against Israel. But you have a radical president, terror supporter, and he plays it like, oh, I want peace, I want peace. They don't want peace. Erdogan never wanted peace. Erdogan wants to control and control and control and control. Erdogan wants to control Cyprus. Erdogan wants to control Greece. That's who he is. So once again, I say, we don't have a problem with the Iranian people, and we don't have a problem with the Turkish people. We have a problem with the Turkish government, we have a problem with the Iranian regime, and we have a problem with the Ayatollah, and we have a problem with Erdogan. We want peace. And if I'm allowed to add, you know, it's very hard to come and to debate me. Because I know the truth. I'm an Arab from Israel. My family lived in Israel for generation after generation after generation. I know the truth. I know what is going on. I know who is the good guy, and I know who is the bad guy. And if you want to come and debate me, I say to those who are supporters of Erdogan, or supporters of Hamas, or supporters of Hezbollah, come and debate me. Let me show you how ignorant you are, how stupid you are, by just showing you the facts and telling you my story and my family's story. So every time I see anyone who supports terrorism, and they see me and they know me, they run. They run away because they are scared of someone who is not a Jewish, live in Israel, and knows the truth. I'll tell you one more thing. Even local politicians in my community, the Arab Israeli community, but they are on the far, far left, extremist, they are scared to go one-on-one on TV against me. Why? Because I expose their lies like no one else, and they are totally scared of that.
Θέλω να σε ρωτήσω, τι δεν κάνετε καλά εκεί στο Ισραήλ και στους φίλους σας και οι φίλοι σας τι δεν κάνουν καλά? Γιατί είδαμε να πηγαίνει ο πρόεδρος σας, ο πρέσβης ο Μίστερ Νετανιάχου, στο Διεθνές Ποινικό Δικαστήριο και να βγαίνει ένταλμα σύλληψης, λες και είναι εγκληματίας πολέμου, και την ίδια ώρα ο νούμερο 1 εγκληματίας που σκοτώνει κόσμο στη Συρία, στο Ιράκ, στους Κούρδους, στη Λιβύη, στην Αρμενία επάνω, ο Ερντογάν μένει στο απειρόβλητο.
This is a very, very important question. We are failing. Israel is failing to share the truth and share the facts. You know hypocrisy? The world has become hypocrite. Because you say, and you're right, you have leaders like Erdogan, like the Ayatollah, leaders like in Sudan, and in other places where you have massacres every day. Massacres. Human violations of the rights of their elementary needs. Yet nobody says anything. Bashar al-Assad kills 500,000 Syrians, not even a single protest on the street. Yemen and Saudi Arabia bomb each other, not even a single protest on the street. Nobody speaking something. Boko Haram kills in mass. Christian in Nigeria being killed every day. Hunger in Africa is going crazy. No protests, no trials, no judges, no international court, no nothing, no war crimes, no nothing. You know, I say, if you are a country, people who are having problems, and you want the world to notice you, blame Israel. Simple. Blame Israel.
Πάμε τώρα στο επόμενο, αγαπητέ Ιωσήφ. Γρήκ Ιωσήφ. Γρήκ Ιωσήφ. Πάμε στην επόμενη ερώτηση. Τι λένε οι συμπολίτες σου στο Ισραήλ για το μέχρι πότε θα πρέπει να ανέχεστε εσείς ως κράτος και ως πολίτες αυτήν την ρητορική μίσους και την επιθετική πολιτική της Τουρκίας έναντι του Ισραήλ και πώς αντιδράτε εσείς όταν βγαίνουν οι Τούρκοι, ο Φιντάν, και λέει ότι θα δείτε τι θα πάθετε το Ισραήλ, η Κύπρος και η Ελλάδα εάν δεν διαλύσετε την συμμαχία εναντίον της Τουρκίας.
It depends. You know, I'm not part of the Israeli government, so I don't know a lot of the details behind the scene. But I do, as a journalist, do my research, and I do know what the Israeli people think. You know, we are talking about something very important to the alliance of Israel, Cyprus, and Greece. And this is also the alliance and the projects that we want to do together, it will help the Israeli people, it will help the people here in Cyprus, and of course the people in Greece. But if Turkey is not part of it, Erdogan and his government are going to feel left out, and they want to be everywhere. This is the mentality of a Middle Eastern occupier. That's who they are. We must not tolerate that. I don't know what's happening today with the current government, but next year we have election in Israel. The new government, and maybe Bibi again, or some new president or new prime minister, we must understand that we have to form a very strong coalition between us, Israel, Cyprus, and Greece, and the rest of the Western world, and send a clear message to Turkey: enough is enough. This is a project that we are working together on that will make our life better and will make the life of people in Europe and the Middle East better. Stop. And if you don't stop, you are going to harm yourself. We need to start acting also with force against people who want to enforce themselves on us. Enough being scared. Enough being the weak in this. If Erdogan wants to threat Israel, if Erdogan wants to threat Cyprus, if Erdogan wants to threat Greece, then Greece, Cyprus, and Israel should threat Erdogan. Point. This is the Middle East. So my message to the Greek government and to the government here in Cyprus, and of course to my government, next election, make sure that in your agenda is a very clear message to the government in Turkey, especially to Erdogan: enough.
Το είπες και πριν ότι ουσιαστικά βρισκόσαστε σε έναν πόλεμο με την Τουρκία. Αυτή τη στιγμή γίνεται στη Συρία, όπου εσείς και καλά κάνετε, καταστρέφετε τις βάσεις των Τούρκων μέσα στη Συρία. Θέλω να σε ρωτήσω, ποια είναι η κόκκινη γραμμή για το Ισραήλ απέναντι στις προκλήσεις της Τουρκίας, και αν εσείς, ο λαός, οι φίλοι σου που συζητάτε, λέτε ότι ξέρεις κάτι, η κόκκινη γραμμή για να κηρύξουμε τον πόλεμο στη Τουρκία και να προστατεύσουμε εκεί τις εθνότητες που καταπιέζονται από τον δικτάτορα Ερντογάν είναι αυτή.
We don't want to see any Turkish troops on the border of Israel and Syria. Point. We cannot tolerate that. And that's why we must not also allow Turkish forces in Gaza. They're talking about it. That's nonsense. And in fact, Israeli people will fight the government if this happens. We must not allow. I don't know what will happen, because they're talking about forces of maybe the Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and with some Turkish forces. We can't allow this. If the Israeli government allows such thing, this is a total failure and a breach in our security. We must not allow Erdogan's force to be in the borders in Gaza and in the borders of Syria. When it comes to the Israeli people, this is a red line you can't cross.
Δύο ερωτήσεις ακόμη. Η πρώτη, αν γνωρίζεις τον Έλληνα Πρωθυπουργό, τον κύριο Μητσοτάκη, και ποια είναι η γνώμη σου γι' αυτό?
He is a big supporter of the state of Israel. We know that unfortunately you have local politicians who are on the far left, and we've seen because of their actions in some cities, Israelis were targeted, whether it was going down from the ship and being on the streets and the demonstrations that we saw. But in general, Greece has always been a close ally and friend of Israel, and we appreciate that. And I think the Greek people needs to understand how we love Greece, and in fact that this alliance made it possible for us also to keep Israelis flying from Israel to Greece, Greece to Israel. This is something that allowed us also to breathe, to get out and to come back. And we know also, whether it is about the government's connections or the people connections, it is a very strong alliance. But that is where the biggest misconception comes. In Greece, unfortunately, you have a lot of Middle Eastern immigrants coming to Athens. I've seen it in my own eyes. Saloniki, other places in Greece. And they are the one who is leading all those protests against Israel. They are the one who is attacking Israelis. I've seen also on social media, people from Greece sending messages to the Israeli people, we love you. Don't listen to the immigrants who come and do that.
And the minister, the Cypriot Mr. Nicholas Christodoulidis?
Oh, well, listen, it's the same thing if you can look at it. Cyprus was among the few countries, okay, that allowed us, Israelis, to come back on the 7th of October. So IDF soldiers who are in Europe or in the rest of the world, allowed them to come back to Israel. So whether it's Greece, whether it's Cyprus, and of course, come on, we have projects together. Not only that, we have future projects together that Turkey wants to stop, right? So I hope that whether it's the Greek president or the president here in Cyprus, continue their support with the state of Israel, because the majority of the people in Cyprus and the majority of the people in Greece and the people of Israel support and love each other, and we are very close neighbors. We must strengthen our relationship, if it's not only because we love each other, but it's also to be an allies against the Turkish government and against Erdogan. Super important.
Έστω ότι εσύ και οι φίλοι σου, οι Ισραηλινοί, ζούσατε στην Κύπρο. Ήσασταν εδώ κάτοικοι της Κύπρου. Θα περιμένατε ποτέ 50 χρόνια για να εφαρμοστούν οι αποφάσεις του Οργανισμού Ηνωμένων Εθνών και να ελευθερωθεί η κατεχόμενη Κύπρος? 50 years.
The UN is a corrupt organization, biased organization. When they established the United Nations, it came to do good things to the world. But this organization, who was corrupted, is only harming the world. I will talk about their resolutions even here towards Europe, Cyprus, Greece, and of course Israel. But just to give you an understanding of how corrupt is this organization and biased this organization, just look at the statistics. So you have countries like North Korea, Iran, you have countries like Syria, yeah, and other really bad, terrible countries in the world. And you have Israel. Do you know how many condemnation Israel got in the last few years? Over 130. Condemnation from the UN. If you gather all the rest of the world, it doesn't even come to 50 condemnations. What? One country, small country, gets over 100 condemnations. And if you combine the rest of the world problems, they don't even get to 50? Do you think this is fair? Just from these statistics, you understand that the UN is nothing. Nothing. So, any resolution to support Greece or to support Cyprus or the occupation on Cyprus, it says nothing. It means nothing. So, my message to anyone who listens to me, if you see any resolution of the UN, take that resolution, tear it, and throw it to the garbage because it means nothing.
Σε αυτό το σημείο, φίλες και φίλοι, φτάσαμε στο τέλος της πολύ ενδιαφέρουσας συνέντευξης με τον συνάδελφο δημοσιογράφο και ακτιβιστή χριστιανό Άραβα Ισραηλινό πολίτη που έχει υπηρετήσει παρακαλώ και στους IDF και βέβαια ακούσαμε πράγματα από έναν άνθρωπο που ζει στο Ισραήλ και που αυτή τη στιγμή έχει έρθει στην Κύπρο για να ενημερώσει τον κόσμο για αυτά που πραγματικά συμβαίνουν στην Γάζα, σε αυτά που συμβαίνουν στο Ισραήλ. Thank you very much, φίλε Ιωσήφ.
Thank you.
Friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you, really.
Thank you for all. Thank you for all.